Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Jupiter in Aquarius Must-Knows for Gemini. We're going to run through this list about what Jupiter does, the tendencies for Jupiter in Aquarius to bring to everyone, where Jupiter is going to be in your chart and the possible effects, what angle Aquarius is to your sign and how that flavors the energy, and the timeline for all of this. Okay, so we are talking about mostly the 2021 time frame because Jupiter's getting into Aquarius in 2020, but the predominance of the time period is 2021, and it will leave Aquarius for good at the end of 2021. Now, if you're watching this in the future and Jupiter's in Aquarius again, and it's 12 years from now or 24 years from now, then what we're going to talk about will still actually be accurate. Even though I'm recording it in this time period, whenever Jupiter moves to Aquarius, it makes these same angles for Gemini no matter what period of time it is. So the next must know is that if you're watching for Gemini as your rising sign or your moon sign or your sun sign, this information is still for you. It's a piece of your total astrological picture. Okay, the charts for your rising, moon, and sun sign all show different glimpses. I call it like out a window of your house of what it looks like in different windows. The view out different windows might be different, but it's still a part of your total experience of being in the house. And that's how those different charts are. Okay, so this is for all of you regardless of what your Gemini placement is. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is what Jupiter does. Understanding the energy of Jupiter is really important to understanding what it can bring as it's moving through this transit. So Jupiter is the natural ruler of Sagittarius, so everything that goes along with Sag energy is what it will bring. And that's for everybody. But for Gemini, since it's going to be moving through the 9th house of Sagittarius, those energies are going to be amplified for you. And we'll talk in a minute about what those are. Jupiter brings options. It brings growth and expansion. It wants to accelerate and uplift and amplify. And it tends to bring benevolence and luck. You might not realize this from looking back at the last year of Jupiter moving through Capricorn, but there was a lot of benevolence that was interspersed within the madness here that we've gone through when Jupiter was in Capricorn. But it is important to know that Jupiter is much happier in Aquarius than it is in Capricorn for everybody, because Jupiter and, which is the energy of Sag basically, and Capricorn, they don't mix very well. So Jupiter having just moved through Capricorn in all of 2020 is like how Jupiter feels is like a child that's being scolded all the time. It doesn't like it. It has to be hemmed in. The natural expansion tendencies have to be disciplined. They have to be organized. They have to be, streamlined. And that's not natural. But when Jupiter gets into Aquarius, it's an air-fire configuration. So not only is that better for everybody in the zodiac because Jupiter is happier in this placement, it's also especially great for Gemini placements because it makes a 120-degree angle, which is the most favorable in all of astrology for you all. So you all will get extra kisses and extra benevolence because of this 120-degree angle, okay? So anything that doesn't materialize along the fronts of the topics that we're going to talk about in this year, don't worry, because this seed planting tendency of Jupiter will often just sprout at random times. So this is a 12-year cycle. So you can think back to like from the beginning of 2009 for around a year, Jupiter was last in Aquarius then. And then that's, so it's about 12-year cycle, right? So if you think back to what happened then, and then we talk about the things that it brings, then you can kind of see in some ways you might have started something then that's coming back around to be expanded more. Or you might have had an idea for something or planted a seed then that's now taking root now. So similarly, things that you do now, it might take a while to blossom, but Jupiter won't forget that you planted that seed at this time, okay? All right, so the next thing to know is that Jupiter is moving through the sign of Aquarius. This is for all zodiac placements, but it is important to know the tendencies of what it will bring. An expansion to your friendship circles, whether those are online or in person, an increase in your networking capacities, so anything that you want to do that involves connecting with other people, your community projects. Jupiter in Aquarius is going to globally bring a lot of focus on our like local communities, as you can kind of already see has been prompted by the coronavirus. So anything that's like a community-based project is going to be accentuated. And there are also online community-based projects, but there is going to be a strong focus additionally on local communities and things with large organizations and humanitarian efforts, and basically just like the human community. Okay, and so your tribe, your feeling of having like-minded people that speak your language, not necessarily your native tongue, but like your spirit language. All of those things are something that Jupiter is seeking to expand for you, is the people that you resonate with and connecting more with them and the power that comes from that. Okay, now specifically for Gemini, this house of the 9th house is being accentuated. And as I mentioned before, intrinsic in the energy of Jupiter always has all of the things on this list because Jupiter rules all of the things on this list. But for Geminis, this is of special extra consequence because it's accentuating the field of experience in your chart that has to do with these things. So if you've had long-standing problems in any area of your life, Jupiter seeks to find solutions and helps you to have more optimism in order to be able to be attractive to those outcomes. Also, anything with international connections, whether that's virtual or actually through traveling or learning languages, all of this is lit up beautifully for you. Teaching, whether you're the one teaching or whether it's your homeschooling that you're teaching kids or whether you're teaching adults, it's your work or whatever it is. Learning, education is going to be very, very, very much amplified, and Geminis are going to be feverishly wanting to learn. You already want to learn. Gemini has a similar energy to Sagittarius in that way, where it's always wanting, you're always wanting to have more information. So you're more likely to go on education benders and get into education programs that are going to expand your horizons and help you to do things more that you've always wanted to do, or to change your work or to enhance your work. Anything having to do with adventure, so whether that's local or whether it's the spirit of adventure, however that manifests for you, will be accentuated with this Jupiter transit through Aquarius. And anything having to do with writing, publishing, whether that's blogs or books or speaking engagements, or anything even having to do with your church or spiritual work, all is seeking to be accentuated. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is a little bit more deep into this timeline. Okay, don't get scared by these numbers. This is to help you understand the time frame when each of you are going to get special extra kisses from Jupiter in Aquarius. So the whole Jupiter transit is beneficial, especially for Geminis. But here are some dates we're going to drill down as to when you're going to get your kisses. Okay, so if you are basically like May-born Geminis, then December of 2020 and January of 2021 are when you're going to have extra special kisses, because that's when Jupiter is going to come and make this exact 120-degree angle with your placements. Now, for those of you who are May-born or 0 to 9 degrees, if you're watching for your moon or rising, okay, so May-born or 0 to 9 degrees, then you're only going to get one extra special kiss where it bumps your planet, but don't worry, you still have potentials for all the rest of the time. But this is an extra special time, December and January. Okay, so for those of you who are in the middle degree placement, those of you, let's see, so February and March, so this is basically like May 1st through 10th, or it looks like May 1st through 10th, or 10 to 19 degrees, if you're watching for your moon or rising, you're going to get your special extra kisses February and March. That's when Jupiter is going to make that beautiful trine configuration with your placements, okay? Now, for the rest of you, late degree friends, May 11th through the rest of the sign, or like 20 to 29 degrees, but especially focused on 20 to 22 to 29 degrees, you're going to have 3 different smooches from Jupiter, okay? And those are going to take place over April, May, and June. And actually, hold on, let's get this other one here. And actually for the whole rest of the year, okay? So those of you in the late degree placement, oh, whoopsie. There we go. you're going to have, see, this is when 16 to 23 degrees. So we start there. All right, so basically from April through the rest of December, for those of you who are in the late degree designation, okay? Because Jupiter is going to move from at 22 degrees, then it's going to retrograde. Actually, it's going to get up higher, and then it's going to retrograde. It's going to get into Pisces, and then it's going to retrograde back down to 22 degrees, okay? And then it's going to go back up. So we are going to have a very short time when Jupiter is in Pisces, but it's just in the very early degrees of Pisces, so it's still with, you know, kind of accentuating in this late degree placement energy. Okay, so those of you towards the end of the sign, you'll get extra kisses from April through December. But again, and that's through December 30th of 2021. Okay, but don't despair if you're in the early and middle placements, because you're still going to get extra kisses and you still have all of the infinite potentials of Gemini and Aquarius for the whole year. Okay, the dates I gave you are just extra special. Mwah, smooches. So, if you want to have more information on how to use this energy throughout the year, definitely keep an eye on my monthly horoscopes, because it's in the monthly horoscopes that I'll tell you, is it a retrograde? Is it all, you know, steam moving forward to push for your launches? Is it a good time to sign contracts, like, you know, make commitments? All of those things are things that I'll tell you each month in the reports, and I always have those up 4 to 6 weeks early. So you can find all that at Annie Botticelli on YouTube. If you would like to have written reports, written horoscopes, I also put those up at least 4 weeks early at cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you're not writing all this down yet, that's fine, because you can click in the link that says more, at the little more arrow underneath the video, and it will reveal all of these extra places for you to get tons of free resources. If you want to know the sweet dates and the salty dates of each month, plus have a written report of all the important transits delivered to your inbox 1 month early, you'll want to sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. You'll also get Shine, my 28-day virtual coaching program, for free when you do that. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. And if you want to align with the planetary rhythms, the natural rhythms of the universe, you'll definitely want my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. So depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching it before December 8th, 2020, then Amazon is giving a 20% discount on pre-orders of the book. It's on Kindle. It's going to be on Audible. You can get it at any major bookseller, and you can get the pre-order discount through Amazon for the print edition. Okay, you'll definitely want that. It's a beautiful hardcover book. I'm recommending you get it on Audible and the hardcover because it's long and detailed, so you'll want Audible for that, but you'll want the hardcover book for the reference. If you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, you will love my course, Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. You can see this course at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, which is my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. So that's a paid course, but I also have a ton of other free courses. Most of my work is free, so if you just look, I have got websites and just all kinds of stuff for free things. But this Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course is really, really, really going to give you whatever you need to do astrology professionally, or to feed your knowledge as a hobby, just to help, you know, you use this for yourself and your friends. So check out all the resources I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful transit of Jupiter moving through Aquarius, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.